Okay, so you've done the hard part. You've gathered all the raw materials for your essay. You've got the memories, the descriptions, the feelings. Now comes the really fun part. How do we turn all those ingredients into a final draft that's not just finished, but genuinely powerful?
Right, so you've done all this work. You've described your object in detail, you've told its story, and you've really dug deep to find out what it means to you. But now you're probably looking at all these great ideas just sitting on the page and thinking, okay, now what? How do I actually put all this together?
Well, here's the best way to think about it. You're basically a chef. Your description, your story, and its meaning, those are your core ingredients. The structure of your essay, that's the recipe you choose. It's all about how you combine everything to create something that really leaves an impression.
So, to get you started, we're going to look at 3 proven recipes. First, we'll cover the classic, the beginning to end approach. Then we'll look at a more complex method that weaves the past and present together. And finally, a really high-impact strategy that starts with a bang. First up is the chronological classic. This is probably the most straightforward approach. You're just telling your story as it happened, from point A to point B to point C. It's so powerful because it builds momentum and lets the reader experience your journey right there with you.
Daniel Maratta's essay, The Grand Old Piano, is a perfect example of this. He starts at the very beginning, the day the piano arrived. This opening line immediately puts us in a specific time and place. It's a super clear starting point for the story that's about to unfold.
And from there, Daniel just takes us step by step through his journey. First, getting the piano, then the struggle of learning, then how it became an emotional outlet, and finally, what it means to him today. See how each stage builds on the one before it? It creates this really clear and satisfying story. All right, now for a more intricate recipe, the Time Weaver. This structure is amazing for showing how a memory can just burst into the present moment and change everything. So instead of a straight line, you're kind of weaving 2 different timelines together.
Deborah Carroll's Seasoning a Bond just nails this technique. She starts in the present, right? She's tired after work, not really wanting to cook, but this simple action, stirring meat in a skillet, acts like a trigger, and it pulls her and us right back into a really vivid childhood memory.
So the essay flows back and forth between the present, the chore of cooking, and these cherished memories from her past. This constant movement is what shows us why that skillet is so important. Its real meaning comes from the connection between these 2 worlds.
Okay, our third recipe is the dramatic flashback. This is the one you use when you want to grab your reader by the collar from the very first sentence. You start at a moment of high drama or emotion, often near the end of the story, and then you jump back to explain how you got there.
Ruben Ramos uses this with just stunning effect in his essay. He doesn't start with happy stories of his childhood. No, he starts at a funeral. That single image, wiping a tear from the glass of a casket, it creates immediate emotional weight and honestly, a lot of mystery. We just have to know more.
You can think of that funeral scene as an anchor, grounding the whole story in this deep emotion. From that point, the essay flashes back to these warm, vibrant memories of his grandfather. By showing us the end first, those stories from the past become even more powerful when we finally return to that last, somber moment.
But here's the thing, no matter which recipe you choose, the classic, the time weaver, the flashback, there is one secret ingredient that you absolutely cannot skip: significance. This is what turns a good story into a truly meaningful essay. It's the so what factor, right? The deeper meaning behind it all.
And this isn't just some abstract idea. It's exactly what your instructors are looking for. You can see it right in the grading rubric. A strong essay doesn't just tell a story, it interprets it. It shows you're thinking critically and going beyond just surface-level reactions.
Now, a really common mistake is to save all that significance, that why this matters, for the very last paragraph. But the most powerful essays weave it in all along the way. A little reflection here, a quick moment of interpretation there. These little insights sprinkled throughout give your essay so much more depth.
So remember, these 3 structures are proven recipes. But at the end of the day, you are the chef. You know your story better than anyone. So feel free to follow one of these, or maybe combine elements from 2 of them. Or hey, invent your own. The goal is just to find the structure that serves your story best. You have your ingredients. You've explored the recipes. So now the only question left is, how are you going to tell your story? It's time to get in there and create your masterpiece.